Slow poker.
I have a career and a family, but also play poker, which doesn't leave me much time, so let's get to it. I've got aces. But before we get to them, context. Previously on Slow Poker, one dumb hand with this donkey granted me the superpower of poker invincibility. I can't stop winning, and for all I know, this power could last forever.
That's impossible.
You, Ralph. Nothing's impossible. I've got aces, and after he limps in for 5, I raise to 25, small blind raises to 80, and I raise again to 250. Small blind calls, despite what I've done to every pot I've so much as looked at. After this flop, I bet 200, and he calls. Given a hand like pocket tens, does beat ace high. Problem is, I have 2 ace highs. But after this turn and a bet of 450, I accidentally take off my impenetrable disguise, at which point small blind is like, oh yeah, now I see it. Turns out he did have pocket tens. How do I know? He told me. Why do I trust him? He's a friend of mine. More specifically, it's my boy Ethan. No, not your boy Ethan.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ethan. It's your boy Ethan. It's your boy Ethan. It's your boy Ethan.
No, my boy Ethan. Your boy Ethan and my boy Ethan couldn't be more different. For starters, your boy Ethan is Asian. For my boy Ethan, slap a cock on that Asian. And please don't Google that. My boy Ethan is pragmatic with his earnings. Your boy Ethan handed $500,000 to an air quotes investor named Dustin DeCloser, who allegedly took every dime and declosed his DMs. And above all, your boy Ethan is just a poker influencer. My boy Ethan is actually good at, poker. That said, my boy Ethan's pocket aces just got cracked by someone chasing a straight, so he is steaming. And even really good poker players can lose their edge once they've hit a certain level of steam. And I'm slightly irritated that I just lost a quarter of my stack, but let's verify my exact emotional status. Okay, I'm at the steamed broccoli level. That's not so bad. At least it's healthy.
Ho ho ho.
High fiber! And while I do feel bad for my friend that he's now steamed broccoli steamed, that won't stop me from going after every last drop of his cheddar.
Ho ho ho.
No mercy! I've got Jack 10, and the hand you're about to see is a cautionary tale about a boat.
Big boat, huh?
Daddy, it's a ship.
You're right.
No, Daddy, she's dead wrong. And in a few days, dead. No, I don't mean a literal boat. This is poker, where a boat refers to a
Full house, boys!
Exactly. Thank you, comically attractive street urchin.
You're welcome.
I raise to 15 and get called by my boy Ethan and the big blind. And after this flop gives me
2 pair.
I bet 25 and they both call. And if I could hand pick a turn card from G-Deck, it would be a
Jack.
And lo and behold, Jack's full.
No caviar for me, thanks.
And if you listen to your friend Billy Zane, my hand is now watertight.
It is unsinkable. God himself could not sink this ship.
So I bet 50, which relative to the pot is tiny. It's an amount that's all but begging someone to draw.
Jack, I want you to draw me like one of your French girls.
And even though I've got this hand locked up, my boy Ethan still calls.
And that makes you my new best friend.
And after this river, I bet and he folds.
I always win one way or another.
Apparently, Big Blind flat called pre-flop with Ace King.
Do you have the slightest comprehension what you're doing?
Then he chased a gut shot to the nut straight.
We're awfully sorry you missed it.
While my boy Ethan had a 9-8, chasing a worse straight.
Don't do it.
Ethan, Ace King could have been and was out there. So on the flop, you thought you had 8 outs, but really you only had 4.
Is this in any way unclear?
Hopefully not, because on the flop, it's already an unwise chase. But once the board pairs, there's a decent chance that
There's a boat.
in which case you're dead in the water. To be clear, if I've got a full house,
You know the money's gone.
namely by this turn, it could be impossible for you to win the hand.
Certain?
Yes, in this case,
It is a mathematical certainty.
always bear in mind that you could be drawing dead. And if so, you will not win.
Don't presume to tell me what I will and will not do.
Okay, again, even if you river the bad straight, that might not be enough.
I don't pretend to know why.
Ethan, you're better than this. For the last time.
You remember what I told you about the boat?
In conclusion, regardless of how steamed you are, once the board pairs, you need to jump ship.
You jump, I jump, right?
No, just you.
But what if I river the string? I've got ace king, and after my boy Ethan raises to 20, and hijack calls, and I raise to 75, and my boy raises again to 250, here's where I land.
I just don't feel like it. I fold.
And Ethan had pocket kings.
Are you disappointed in my weak sauce fold with ace king offsuit? Really? That's not really what you had?
Ethan, look, I know. Everyone has felt that feeling. You're shocked, disappointed, annoyed.
Betrayed, bewildered.
But look at it this way. Given how scorching hot I am right now, you know the run out would have been this, or this. Instead, I folded, spared you that agony, and you got to relocate 3 green chips from my stack to yours without breaking a sweat. I did you a favor. Take my chips and enjoy them.
But only for now, only for now.
I've got Jack 9 offsuit, and after my boy Ethan raises to 20 and cutoff calls, this red chip poker preflop chart recommends a fold. But that chart runs counter to my wait but what about last night chart. You see, as explained in part 1 of this series, last night's fateful poker game was a bloodbath where I couldn't catch a break, much to the amusement of everyone in attendance. Like this guy, and this guy, and this gal, and this guy, and this guy. Oh yeah, and also this guy. And one of last night's hands technically cost me nothing, cause after a raise with 10 deuce by Doyle Branson, I folded from the button with Jack 9. Who cares, right? I care. Cause then, Sashimi called from the big blind with ace 8, then after this flop, nobody bet a single chip, then son of a bitch! Just look at that guy, all stoic and calm, with no discernible desire to flip over the table Hulk style. Even less so on the river, when chips start flying, when Branson's got 2 pair, and Sashimi's got a better 2 pair, and I'm 100% not steamed as Cleveland. But tonight, I call, and son of a bitch, I check. My boy Ethan bets 35, I check raise to 125, and he calls. And after this turn, I bet 250, and he folds. Sorry, my boy. Regret can be a cruel, irrational mistress. Oh, and as for those chips that I lent you in the last hand,
I'll take those.
I've got kings. And after I raise to 15, and my boy Ethan makes it 55, and big blind cold calls, and I make it 200, and Ethan makes it his stack, and I call, I wonder aloud whether I'm ahead.
You got it? I'll flip them? Let's just see how this goes.
Translation, I'm ahead. And on this flop, I remain ahead. But Ethan's ecstatic about this turn. And after this river, since I lose to any spade, sure seems like my win streak is finally over. Until I hear 4 words that imply otherwise. As my mountain of chips grows even more mountainous, my boy sprints out of the room in agony, and I feel his pain. That turn card was cold-blooded. And while I do love winning, and 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 while it's tempting to lock in, let it ride, and find out whether I've achieved poker immortality, it hurts to see my friend hurting. So I stand up, cash out, find Ethan, tell him that tacos are on me, and we disappear into the Vegas night. Cause you know what's more important than crushing at the poker table? Friendship. And tacos. Not necessarily in that order. But hey, that was one fun ride, right? And no matter what, we'll always have the memories.
$925,600 pennies, 925 grand from value so thin. 925,600 pennies. How do you measure a win? In gut shots, in suck outs, in checking your big blind option, in coolers, in sets like flopping that 5, in 925,600 pennies. How do you measure the win of your life? Flopping the nuts, 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 effective nuts. a poker Superman. 925,600 pennies. How do you measure the win of a Jewish Johnny Chan?
Not folding kings, but in folds when behind. Or ripping in chips when you got 7 hearts.
It's time now to cash out, though the winning never ends. Now celebrate, remember the day when you f***ed up your friend. Remember that?
All right, let's go, kids. School bus.